Hey, yo, what's up, guys? Sade here with another episode of Sade's Experience. So, a lot has changed since the last time we spoke, and I wanted to go over all these things with you guys in today's video. I'm going to be talking about a little bit about my trip to Japan, what my findings were, where I'm currently at with my diet, and that's very recently my training / recovery and my diet and all that, just to kind of explain it to you guys. So come with me and let's unpack all this stuff. So a lot of cool things have happened ever since my trip to Japan, and that's I think where we're gonna start. My trip to Japan was awesome. There was a lot of great things, a lot of great findings that I happened to come over whilst over there. I mean, the culture, the place, the food, it was all awesome. And you guys know that if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, that whenever I do travel, I do like to indulge in the local foods. I do like to try out new things, and Japan is just one of those places. If you're a foodie, you're gonna love Japan for sure. It is the place to be at if you're gonna get some really authentic, really good food, or very just, I guess you could say, like very original food. Japan is definitely the place, and I'll be making a couple of videos separately each week in regards to my trip, and I'll be taking out my weekly content. That way, if you guys want to go ahead and see what I ate, all the things and all the places that I went to whilst being in Japan, you can go ahead and check those out in the other video. But for today, I'm just going to be talking about like some of the stuff, and like I told you, I do indulge in these trips whenever I get a chance to. It is my vacation, and it is my time to kind of, I guess, bond a little bit more with my girlfriend, so I don't take it for granted. I really like enjoying it as much as I can. One thing that did happen while I was still over there, and I did notice, above and beyond with the food and all that, like all food set aside and all that, when I came back, I realized that I gained 20 pounds over the course of 11 days total. So that was crazy even for my standards. My girlfriend was going around with me. She was eating the exact same things, and she only gained, I think, like a pound, and that was it. I think actually she lost weight, and she actually gained muscle from the walking. We were walking about 25,000 steps, which kind of equated, I think, to like about 14 miles, something like that, each day. Somewhere around there. It was crazy. Like, it was from 25,000 to 29 to like 30,000 steps every day. So it was quite a bit of walking, and I still managed to gain weight, which was crazy. How you doing back there, babe? You got it.
No.
She's like super mad because she thought it was gonna be like a lot less movement, but it is the Great Wall of China, so I don't know how she didn't expect this. I also didn't expect it to be this many steps, but it's a good workout after all that food. Sure, I wasn't fasting, but it was a little bit shocking. And the other thing that was super shocking, the fact that I would see all these people just going around Japan, and they'd be eating all this high carbohydrate food, super rich in carbohydrates, super rich in fat, and all these other things, and they were lean. Japanese people are very lean, and it just kind of blew my mind. And I think this is like a perfect segue into what started to happen to me. I started realizing that obviously these people have lived with these foods for a very, very long time, and it made me think how my genetics and their genetics might differ quite a bit. And so I started thinking, well, what were the foods that my ancestors ate? What is my ancestry? And so I started kind of looking into epigenetics and really diving in to all these different types of genes. I went down this really dark rabbit hole, or really prolonged rabbit hole, I should say, and I started really looking into what genes or what genetics most Hispanics share and stuff like that. And it was really hard to kind of pinpoint it, because even though I do have some Hispanic heritage, I also know I have some Spanish blood in me because of my last name, Oropesa. It is actually a roundabout in Madrid, and it's right in the center of Madrid, so might have a little bit of royal blood in me. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. But did leave me thinking quite a bit on all these genetic things, and I found quite a couple of interesting, actually, I found a lot of interesting things. I found out that there's all these crazy genes, that there's genes for resistance, you know, like there's some people that start getting used to a diet really quite fast. Some people cannot digest plants as well as others. They cannot get the omega-3s from them, and it's just the way it is, you know. Sometimes there's some people that have some really awesome genes that permit them, you know, to go and have some crazy endurance. We all know that guy that just sits around and gets a six-pack. Well, guess what? That has to do with fatty acid oxidation, and those people do some really well in keto. So as you guys know, we vary quite a bit from people to people, you know, and so our genetic makeup also changes along with all this, and I think we haven't paid quite enough attention whilst trying to get these diets straightened out. I think that we have forgotten our genes, what our ancestors used to eat, what we evolved to eat, and I think that varies greatly from, let's say, from the people from Japan and from Hispanic culture. I'm Hispanic, I'm Latino, whatever you want to call it. You know, my parents are fully Mexican. I was just born here in the US, so I was lucky enough to, for that to happen to me. But I'm pretty sure that my ancestors ate quite differently from what I eat today. I'm pretty sure they didn't eat even remotely the same just like 2 generations ago. So that got me thinking, and I started to realize that the only way that I was going to know for sure what my ancestors ate was to actually make an ancestry test. So I decided to do the 23andMe test, and I still haven't gotten the results back yet. I just did the test, so I'll be getting those results in about 6 weeks. It takes quite a bit of time actually, which was super simple. The only thing that you have to do is you basically gotta spit into like this tube like thing, and then you go ahead and you close the lid and you send it over, and then once you get sent over, then they'll send you the results back to you, and you will be able to check a bunch of stuff, a bunch of data, and that should probably tell me where I'm from, or at least where my ancestry is from. And I think based on that, I can make a pretty good assessment as to what my diet should be, or what my ancestors ate at least, and see if maybe I can find any pearls of wisdom amongst all my genes. So I'm really interested to see the results of that, but I know that it's really hard to pinpoint just from like, oh, where's your family from? I know a lot of people end up finding some really crazy stuff on their ancestry tests. So I think it'd be really cool to know what my ancestors used to eat, how they got around like nutrient deficiencies and all that, because they did get around nutrient deficiencies with all the crazy science that we have. And even with all the crazy science that we have, you know, we still have this pandemic of obese people, including myself. You know, I keep on gaining weight, losing weight. It's crazy. So that's something that the Japan trip kind of flared up in all this. Now, as far as those 20 pounds that I mentioned that I gained earlier, I did manage to lose them quite easily. Luckily enough, when I left to Japan, I was 169 pounds, as I showed you guys, and when I came back, I was 189 pounds, somewhere around there. So it was about 20 pounds, 190 pounds. I was floating around there. You can actually kind of start seeing the abs kind of here, but the belly is not even as bloated at all, and it's only been 5 days, not even 5 days, but it's close to 5 days. That is ridiculous. If this doesn't prove that fasting works, I don't know what does. And obviously combining the carnivore diet with the fasting I really do believe it's just a plus. And if you're wondering what the heck are those, yes, I got some cupping done there. You can barely see it here, and then over on this side, and then some cupping over here. And I've also gotten acupuncture all over my upper body and my back, just because of my injuries. But we're working through those, and they're coming along just fine, especially with all the exercises that the doctor gave me. So let's see how much it progresses. But now let's go over to the scale. So look at that, it's actually 175, it's not even 176. Barely 175, but you know. So yeah, guys, I'm super surprised that this is working out the way I thought it would. I didn't think that I would gain that much weight. I know I usually gain a little bit of weight, usually like 10 pounds whenever I go on a trip, but this exceeded anything and everything that's happened before. So I did fast. I fasted for 3 days. I did 3 consecutive 78 hours, and I got the weight off of me super fast. but it also got me thinking that maybe there's an easier way for me, or for my particular like body, to handle certain foods. Because something I did notice was, even though I was eating carbs while I was on the trip, I did notice that my body could handle them quite well in comparison to some of the carbs that we have here that I guess are a lot more processed. So that was very, very interesting. Also, along with the whole loss of weight, now when I managed to lose the weight, I noticed that in the first fast, in the first 78 hours, I lost about like 8 pounds. So a lot of that was water weight. I started to retain a lot of water weight. And then the rest, it took me a little bit of time, as I noticed, like the next 72 hours, I lost only 4 pounds, as I predicted before. Like for me, a 72-hour fast is perfect to lose 4 to 5 pounds. So that's what happened. And I got it down to 171 pounds. I think, yeah, 171 pounds. So that's not bad. I managed to get the weight back down quite quickly. And so I was happy with that. But during that time, something that also changed was, now in the next thing is basically, I started to bring the carnivore diet back again, like just going strictly carnivore, and I really started to like get all the meats in and started, eating as I usually do immediately when I got back from the trip. And it was crazy to see the change in how my body felt. I felt a lot better. It felt awesome, However, right after the 3 78-hour fasts that I did, I had to immediately go to OMAD, and the reason was because I started to work out. As of very recently, I spoke to my doctor, and they lifted my restrictions a little bit more, and now I can exercise a little bit more. The only thing that I still have, that I still haven't gotten over, the little bit of the hump for my recovery, it has been my shoulders, and they're still kind of killing me every now and then, but my restrictions have been lifted and I can do a little bit more. Just still no overhead press, nothing like that. So that's good to hear. But what my body started to do, and I found it kind of funny, to be honest, because I knew it was going to happen, I started putting on quite a bit of muscle really, really quickly. From 171 pounds, I am currently right now, as of today, after like three weeks of just doing OMAD, actually 2 weeks of just doing OMAD, I went from 171 to 180 pounds. So I thought it's impossible for me to have put on that much muscle mass, but I have put on quite a bit of muscle with very, very minimal amount of effort. And I mean, the stuff that I've been doing hasn't been heavy at all. It can't be that heavy because I just can't lift that much right now. Again, I still got the restrictions in place. But the reason why I decided to go OMAD, as I told you guys last time when I was doing the 48 hours, if you've been watching the channel for any given amount of time, you've noticed that I've done OMAD, I've done 48-hour sessions, and I've done 72-hour fast as well. And what I found out was, with the OMAD, it's kind of a great place to maintain. And I kind of alluded that, or I thought that it would be a great place to put on mass and, remain at the same weight, or just kind of put on muscle mass, in regards to what I know my body does. So I decided to reserve that for a time whenever I was going to start working out. And voila, here's the time, I decided to put it into place, and yes, it's exactly as I thought. When I start working out and I decided to do OMAD, I find that I start putting on muscle, I start packing on muscle like it's nobody's business. And I found that has been right now the perfect balance with my fasting, because I started to see that the 48-hour fast are pretty good and they do help me lose weight, but I also lost a considerable amount of muscle, because when I came back from my trip to Japan, I spoke to my doctor almost like on the 5th day from coming back, that I had my doctor's appointment. So when I saw the doctor, he told me, start going into the gym, start doing your thing, just be very careful, blah, 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 all these things. That's when I started seeing all the changes, like how weak I had gotten because of my 48-hour fast, just consistently been doing these. It was quite trippy, but it was also super awesome to see that I started to gain back all that muscle and a lot of strength by just doing OMAD. And OMAD as a carnivore, And again, I'm not here to be dogmatic and just saying, oh, carnivore is a diet. No, currently it's just working for me. I know that my girlfriend can't do carnivore for that long. She has to have some plants in her daily meals. She has to have some fish. If not, she starts going insane, which is kind of funny, you know? But I think it's awesome because it shows just how much variation there is between us. And just like the Japanese people, I found that they were eating ramen every day and they were able to hold their own. You know, it's awesome how there's people that can do well Mediterranean diets. There's people that do well with super high fat diets. There's people that do well with no carbs, you know, with some carbs or whatever. Like you really got to start. I think we really got to stop thinking that one cookie cutter way fits everybody and just start finding out what works for us. And the way we start doing that is by experimenting. And as I've told you guys before, I'm doing the experimenting maybe for some of you guys, and hopefully you guys learn a little bit along with me. And that's currently where I am. I'm trying to find out now that OMAD is working for me. I'm finding out that OMAD's working for me while I'm exercising. It's the perfect, I think, for me, both to gain mass, to recover from my current injury, and we'll see where this takes me. We'll see how my body evolves with me, how my diet evolves with me, and I can't wait to get those results from 23andMe and see what my genetics say about it. And there's always room for improvement, guys, and that's where I'm currently at right now. Wow, I know that was a long video, guys, but thanks for sticking with me. And again, I'm going to be putting out those videos. I've been super busy, so I haven't been able to put out a lot of it. As you guys can see right now, like I have like I got a couple of minutes before I run out of daylight, and it's been like that every day for the past couple of weeks. And so sorry I haven't been able to bring you guys as much content, but I need to get back on the horse. A lot of things have changed at work, but at the same time that brought upon quite a bit of work, and I'm still trying to juggle my schedule and do all these things, you know. I'm still not a full-time YouTuber, which would be awesome, but I'm still gonna be bringing you guys content regardless of whether I'm a full-time YouTuber or not. I think this is a cool space that I've created with all of you guys, and I really appreciate you guys. Keep on joining me on the weekly basis, commenting, posting up some good information down in the comments. You guys give out some awesome feedback. It really helps me out. It helps the rest of the people that are reading the comments. It's just a great help, and I really appreciate you guys, and I really want you guys to know that. But in any case, we have definitely prolonged this way too much. Thanks for joining me in another episode, guys. Please go ahead, comment, like, and subscribe. You guys know the deal. Push that notification bell if you haven't already done so, and definitely make sure to come back each week. I promise it's going to be each week now for the next coming video, and how the progress keeps on going, and that way I can show you the progress of how the muscles are looking, because it is getting a little bit ridiculous as to how much muscle I'm putting on. So stick around for that, and hopefully it can give you an insight as to maybe how you guys can grow your diet. But in any case, guys, Zate out. Peace.